Well, you know what? I'm not the only one who's been on Cuomo. You've been on Cuomo several times as well.
Yeah, so in this clip, this is the prediction that started it all. Now, you saw me do it on the Young Turks before, but this is on CNN on national TV. And this is the thing that, if you remember, you see me catching John and Brett talking about this clip. And then that started a whole nother controversy, which was nothing but fun. But most importantly, the prediction that he doesn't finish his term. So get ready for it. Tick, 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 tick. Tick, 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 tick.
On yesterday's main show, Cenk apparently discovered that on the damage report, I had taken issue with one of his bold predictions on Chris Cuomo's show. Here is what he showed on yesterday's main show.
I'll predict right here for you, Chris. I think Donald Trump will leave office before his term is up. He'll be humiliated, embarrassed, and I know him. He's not gonna wanna lose, and he's gonna run for the hills.
You got that bet all day long.
Okay, let's get after it. Now, so look, Cenk has made some good predictions, and this is in good fun. I could not disagree more.
There's a little bromance between the two of them. You got that bet all day long, Janky, you. Oh, you stop. In the meantime, let's call him out on the damage.
But
I just got a Roku set. Did basically a little bit of channel surfing, and I was like, there we are, there we are. And then I turned it on, and it was John and Brett on Damage Report making fun of me.
Oh no.
So you are so busted. I even took a picture of it, okay? And they're talking about my predictions. I got a new prediction for you, John Idarola.
I actually missed, what was the prediction?
Yeah, no, I'm playing. Okay, so first let's start with the premises for the prediction that Donald Trump will not be in office by the end of his term. Now, if you watch the Young Turks, you're not at all surprised by that. I've been saying that literally from day one. But I wanted to say it on CNN, and it was in the context of how disastrously Donald Trump is going with his polling numbers, etc. So, and as I told you from day one, there's a couple of reasons why I made that prediction. One, Donald Trump is not capable of managing himself out of a wet paper bag. So he's never failed to declare bankruptcy on anything that he's ever run, and it doesn't take that long. And so I'm actually quite shocked that he's lasted this long. So it's going to be an epic debacle, and it certainly has been an epic debacle in many ways. But part and parcel of that prediction was at some point the economy crashes because Trump will do such maniacal things that he can't help but crash the economy. So we're teetering on that edge now. His polling is anywhere between 36 to at most generous as 43%, averaging at about 40%. That is terrible numbers. Terrible numbers already. Under any normal circumstance, you would have no chance at re-election if you're an incumbent polling around 40%. Now, yes, we do have 14 months left. Now, when everybody, including the Trump administration, believes that we're gonna hit a recession. If we hit that recession, which is again, we're on the precipice of, nobody's rooting for it, but it's a reality that even the Republicans acknowledge. Yesterday, we did a story about several Republican senators going, oh no, here comes the recession, right? Then Trump's gonna dip into the 20s. And two set of things that are gonna happen. And again, all of this, I said from the very beginning. And it's coming to fruition, I believe, as we speak. Look, you've got his legal troubles to begin with, and he's a crook, lifelong criminal. I knew he'd continue to be a lifelong criminal and a con man. But when the economy crashes, that's when the donors run. And that's when the donors tell the Republicans, release the hounds. This guy's not gonna win anyway. He's gonna pull down the rest of the Republican senators and House members. And then there's the Republicans and their driving engine being the donors abandoning him when the market crashes. And they already got their tax cuts. And so, and again, go all the way back to the beginning. I said the one thing they're gonna do is tax cuts. And once they got the tax cuts, they don't need that schlep anymore, right? Or that schmuck anymore. And then the last part of it is Trump doesn't like being humiliated. You think he wants to go and lose 40 states? They're gonna get slaughtered in this next election. So again, you're gonna think I'm overconfident. Yeah, I've heard it 1,000 times before. So, and if you remember, I've been saying all along, he's not gonna get impeached, he's gonna resign. I said, he's gonna wake up, you're gonna wake up one morning and be like, Trump is gone. What do you mean he's gone? Yeah, this morning he resigned. And people are gonna be like, what? Right? So I'm never gonna be moved up. You're gonna be the last day in office. I'm like, Tick, 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 tick.
Well, I'm glad that you brought up the tick, 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 tick. I want you to have an opportunity to jump in first. What do you think? Does he make it to election day? Does he run for re-election?
Oh, he runs for re-election, gets wiped out, and tries to stay on as long as he possibly can. Two reasons. One, he is addicted to being president. This is a guy who everyone his whole life has thought is a loser, liar, con man, sleazy, and basically he only fools a few people here and there. Like that's his whole career. And so now he's in a position of authority where people actually have to be nice to him. So he's never had anything like that before. So he's addicted to being the president. Number one. Number two is that if he leaves office early, he's going to get prosecuted. And that was basically like Bob Mueller has repeatedly said that. I would have done some other stuff here, but you know what? I can't indict the president. So
okay, but
not going to happen.
So Matt, those are two reasons I would turn around on you. Okay, so the weaker case is he's addicted to being powerful and president, but if you get humiliated in the elections, well, you've lost that power. Remember, he often will run and then go, oh, well, I would have won. I mean, I would have won. I would have done this, I would have done that, but I mean, I didn't want it anyway. Remember, he's a child.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't want it anyway is such a classic child move. But the stronger case is, see, I got frustrated when I realized the Democrats were never going to take action against them, never going to hold them accountable. And I was like, Cenk, are you sure? I was doubting myself for a second there. It happens from time to time. Yes, that's right. And I had not calculated, which I should have, the depth of the weakness of the Democrats, how pathetic they are, that they wouldn't challenge him at all. But now get a load of this. Trump might resign because he thinks, well, I'm never going to be prosecuted. Like if he was really worried that he was going to go to prison afterwards, then he'd want to hold on for dear life, as most fascists do. But he thinks, oh my God, they're never going to prosecute me. Pelosi and these Democrats and these prosecutors are losers. They're going to let me get away with everything. All right, then I'm out of here and I'll pretend I would have won.
I do agree with the not prosecuting. I think that Donald Trump could shoot one of Pelosi's colleagues dead, and I don't think that she would do anything about it, unfortunately. But I disagree with a lot. I know, it's a reference to his Fifth Avenue thing.
I know.
He started it, and he's the president. But I disagree with a lot of the rest of what you guys are saying. Look, I can't imagine him stepping down. I think that would be a humiliation. I have no doubt that he would spin it as, I was forced out by a coup, he's gonna talk about it for the rest of his life. But I think he's going to run, and I think it's going to be difficult for a number of different reasons. First of all, it depends on how we come out of this primary. If we have a good progressive, significantly easier. If we have Joe Biden, who knows what's gonna happen on election day. And so that definitely matters. But then also, we have the Electoral College, we have voter suppression, we have all of these things that are designed to make it more challenging and closer than it should be. So I don't think that we should get too excited about anything. Polls, the economy, I'm not convinced that if the economy tanks, it will hurt him, at least with his base. Maybe with independents, sure, and maybe that's enough for him to lose. In terms of him stepping out before the election though, so you mentioned the tick, 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 tick. So we had a bet at one point about whether he would make it to the midterms.
Yes.
Which I don't think I ever got paid for. But do you remember at one point, TYT, we set up a pool, the resignation impeachment pool. And we each signed up for a month.
Ooh, this was gonna sting.
So here's the thing, I have to tell you, your month came and went.
Oh, really?
Do you want to know what month that was?
It was gonna be, it's early.
It's to be fair, it's October 21st. 2017.
Okay.
It's a while ago.
So yeah, I hear you, and that is fair to bring up. I'm not a Republican, so I don't disagree with your facts.
You didn't pay though.
That does make me more Republican. No, I don't. Look, I didn't know we had a physical bet, but if you look that up, find that, I'll definitely pay you.
I don't
hate
remember.
people who don't pay bets.
Probably $5 anyway.
But I have acknowledged that I lost that bet to Anna. So look, I thought for sure that it would happen before the midterms. I was obviously wrong about that. And so, but if you watch the Young Turks a long time, you also know my timing is off and off. So it'll come true, but like way later than I realized, okay?
Well, actually, to that point, the way later, so every remaining TYT employee that signed up for a month, it's come and gone. Do you know the only person whose time hasn't come and gone yet is Bart in the control room. He signed up for August 9th, 2024. I think he might win this thing. I don't know.
No way.
I certainly hope not. I do hope not.
Yeah, look, guys, we're just having fun.
Obviously.
And we'll see what happens. But here, I'll give you a couple quick, two statewide polls to give you a sense of how badly he's gonna get humiliated. So New Hampshire, which his campaign is now talking about how they're gonna win that state even though they lost it last time. Well, in January of 2017, so during inauguration, every new president has a bump up. Even though he lost New Hampshire, he had a positive approval rating in New Hampshire because Americans are open-hearted and they're like, let's give the guy a chance.
That's a honeymoon.
Yeah, honeymoon. And he was at just +1 in New Hampshire, much better in other states, but +1 in New Hampshire. You know what he's pulling out right now in New Hampshire? -17. Okay, now Wisconsin, he won Wisconsin and he got an even bigger bump. He barely won it. And then inauguration, he's at +6, nice and healthy, okay?
Yeah.
He's now at -14. -14 in Wisconsin. Oh, so Wisconsin's gone, Michigan's at -11, Iowa is at -11, Arizona's at -7, Pennsylvania's at -8, etc. And the economy hasn't even crashed yet. Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah,
tick,
well,
tick,
although,
tick, tick.
but there's a couple of things to think about though. One is that, as John was saying, you can't take anything for granted, especially in today's political environment. But two is that it matters a lot who the Democratic nominee is, because a lot of people in 2016 went and voted for Trump even though they didn't like him.
That's true.
And that's because the entirety of all conservative political operations isn't to get a majority to like them or to agree with them.
Yeah.
That's something that a lot of progressives haven't figured out. And again, I was there. I know how they think. They literally say to themselves, it doesn't matter if a majority of Americans agree with us. All that matters is if a majority of voters laid out where we want them. That's all that they care about.
No, Matt, that's a terrific point. And the only thing that I'll say, I don't even mind being overconfident here. The only thing that I'll give is a very important caveat is, of course it depends on who the Democrats pick to be their candidate. If they make the same exact mistake they did last time, nobody likes Donald Trump, but let's put up an establishment candidate that tells you big business is great, big media is great, politicians are great, Washington is great. Yeah, well, that's the only way you can lose to Donald Trump. Could they make that same mistake?
Yeah.
I
think if it's Biden, for a few different reasons, he still would have a better chance, especially because Donald Trump is less popular than he was back in 2016. But if it's Biden, there will be some voters who will not support him. I honestly think that no matter who they choose, even if they choose Bernie, my #1, there will be some percentage of voters who will not support a major party candidate. So you can't take anything for granted.
Well, I mean, look, Illinois, when Barack Obama ran for Senate the first time, Alan Keyes was his opponent. Alan Keyes is certifiable. He got 25% of the vote.
Yeah.
And there you have it. This guy is a lunatic, literally crazy.
And I just want to make one point clear, because it was in the Cuomo clip. Right after you finished talking, they went to the other guy, I'm not familiar with his name, and he started talking about how he's not hoping for a recession. Cenk never once implied that he wanted a recession. They just keep saying that if you predict one, you're hoping for one, possibly causing one, and that is 100% disingenuous.
So that's Niger Ennis, but in the case of my prediction of Trump leaving office, I'm both predicting it and hoping for it. Not the recession, but Trump leaving office. And look, 25% of this country is certifiable. They'll vote for anyone. But I think Trump is gonna get to that, holding on to just that 25%. And I love that I found that clip on Roku, because today we're doing the show exclusively on Roku, Pluto, Zumo, and YouTube TV, our outlets, and TYT.com. If you're a member. So everybody check us out on Roku and Pluto, Zumo, and YouTube TV. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.